Hello, welcome to this presentation on who is the product owner for the system team, presented by myself, Glenn Smith. I am a SAFE SBCT candidate, SPC and RTE working internationally as a consultant and trainer for RadTac. RadTac is an Agile training consulting Gold SBCT partner of Scaled Agile, and we are headquartered in the UK. Now, the idea for this talk came off the back of a conversation with a client who'd been struggling with their application of the system team in numerous ways. I can understand their dilemma, as identifying the product owner for the system team can sometimes be not as straightforward as it can be for other teams in Agile release trains. As we will see though, there are many similarities as there are differences. In this presentation, I'm going to explore what you need to make this a successful role. I will cover an overview of what the system team is and the role of the product owner within it. Then I will outline 4 typical locations you may find your product owner for the team, along with the development opportunities for each scenario. I'll wrap up with an anti-pattern I've seen when trying to source this role, along with a quick win you can use to get going in a new art. Let's start by making sure we're all aligned on what the system team is. The purpose of the system team, or teams, as you may have many in your organisation, is to provide the specialist skills to support the environments and chain needed across the portfolio to perform its work. Now, this can vary from your Agile lifecycle management tools like Jira to your DevOps continuous integration and continuous deployment tooling. In addition, they may support the provision of pre-production and test environments, to name a few. The system team's work is pivotal for trains in the portfolio as a whole to achieve results by doing this important work. Depending on the starting point of your organisation, the amount of work they need to do to enable trains to deliver with the shortest sustainable lead time can be considerable. Now, while some will assume the system team works only at the essential level, the system team can and does work at any level in SAFE. Hence this addition to the spanning planet on the side of the big picture. The system team may also serve multiple arts, solutions, or the portfolio. Having a system team is actually optional, but having the capability isn't. If an art has the capability to undertake the work the system team normally handles within the train, then having a dedicated team isn't needed. The Safe Guidance article describes a system team as a specialised Agile team. This broadly means it will use Scrum or Kanban just like any of the teams on an Agile release train, and therefore needs the support of a product owner and, for Scrum teams, a Scrum Master. It may support the goal of continuous delivery with enhancing solution integration and the solution end-to-end testing too. Unfortunately, people often read this as a system team does the integration and system level testing only. They are not meant to be just a testing team. Arts and the teams within the team train own the responsibility to deliver integrated end-to-end code, and we should only rely on the system team where for good reason the teams cannot do it, not just because they don't want to. Valid reasons could be that they need to integrate, their integration skills are specialised, or that there is an economic benefit like economies of scale. The SAFE fellow Mark Richards talks about the system team, enabling the ownership to be taken by the devs teams rather than doing the work themselves. This is a useful lens to look through when you read the SAFE guidance on the team's role and helps to reduce the misconceptions people sometimes take about it. So, what does the PO for the system team actually do? Well, they need to understand how the environment and chains can be improved to best support the portfolio achieving the shortest sustainable lead time. The system team works solely to support the release of value and don't just do things for the sake of it. Therefore, the PO needs to understand the performance of the development value streams so they can look to support their optimization with the platforms and toolchain. They keep in mind the balance of the immediate and the longer term objectives, as this can be challenging when a support request comes their way. Just like any PO for any other Agile team, they are responsible for the story definition, working with the team members during their planning so the team can effectively estimate and sequence the work, accepting the work when complete, and they collaborate with the POs and PMs within the arts. Like all POs, not only do they serve the team, but they serve the program too. This collaboration is key during the lead up to PI planning meeting to understand the demands of the system team and the upcoming PI. During the event itself, they help to sequence the work to maximise value delivery, and with the Scrum Master, manage the risks and dependencies across the teams. It should go without saying that the PO for the system team needs a solid grounding in the act of being a product owner, like any other PO in the organisation. This includes the normal duties and functions like how to handle incoming demand, document it as stories, collaborating with other POs and POs at the Art Sync meeting, and prioritisation. They should also have a customer focus too, which for the system team is mainly the development teams, but also includes the art leadership and business owners. Like any team, making sure they don't forget who they serve and why. In Mick Kirsten's book, Project to Product, he talks about the removal of impediments in the delivery pipeline and its ability to improve flow only when there is a direct improvement to future delivery. This is of a similar vein to the safe architectural runway, in that the work of the system team must have direct business benefit. If we are to live by our principles, specifically taking an economic view, we focus efforts for results to support the wider organisation's objectives over delivering a technically perfect solution. More specifically for the system team, PO, these additional skills are also important. Value stream mapping capabilities, critical to understanding the current development value stream and create a future state. This allows an improvement roadmap to be created that will seed the work the team can do to support the flow of optimization of the arts. Technical understanding of the continuous integration and continuous delivery DevOps pipelines, supporting technologies and the tool chain to implement it. This is the product domain for this product owner. System thinking. Understanding their work is to enable the art to deliver value along with the wider context. And lastly, an understanding of architecture so they can work with the system, solution or enterprise architects. Being able to work alongside and support their needs increases harmony and allows for the best solutions to be created. Now, being that they are a PO like any other, when identifying candidates for this role, you may find your existing product management function doesn't have the technical product domain skills to effectively work within this team. This can naturally lead people to look at the technical domain, but this means they won't likely have the PO skills needed. At this point, it's easy to choose someone without much consideration of the wider concerns. There are 4 patterns that I have seen, each with its own pros and cons, and you will need to make your own trade-off decision in your context. I'm going to give you an outline of the considerations you need to make them. We will explore sourcing the PO from the existing product management function, a team leader or senior team member, a business analyst or architect, or from within the team. Taking them from the product management function means they will know the role, but potentially struggle with the product. Here you have a captain who knows where to go, but doesn't know how to get there. They will have to rely heavily on the team to create stories and find solutions. This will have an impact on the team's capability capacity, to deliver while supporting the new PO. You may also find that your existing PO community does not have a personal interest in this domain and doesn't see it as a product they want to work with. For some, they don't see internal products as exciting as the ones our customers use. However, I challenge this assumption, as the system team has the potential to truly unlock the power that the trains have. The more work that can be done with a higher quality enables truly amazing results for your customers. On the flip side, the existing relationships they have with other POs can support the adoption of new capabilities and provide a fast feedback loop for what the other teams are doing. Exploiting these relationships can give a positive result and improve alignment. Now, this choice can be one of the hardest to implement, as the learning curve can be high if the PO doesn't have the technical skills necessary. Development opportunities include the SAFE Agile Software Engineering course. This will give them an understanding of the software development process and build an awareness of the engineering demands their team can support. The SAFE DevOps course, which will expand their knowledge on the value stream they support and thinking about optimizations for the future. Join communities of practice from the engineering disciplines. These can act like informal focus groups to hear from their customers. Read the DevOps Handbook by Gene Kim. This explains the processes and suggestions of tooling choices and is a great companion to the DevOps course. Attend the DevOps conference, as this will keep them up to date with industry trends and the art of the possible. And finally, pair with system team members. Some teams have sourced the PO from their team leader or senior team member roles, which means they will have the technical skills but will be lacking the PO skills. Also, being the ex-team lead or senior dev, or worse, wearing two hats with both the new PO and the old role, means the job of the Scrum Master in the team can be challenging. Team members might find confusion that should they take their lead from the ex-leader owing to their previous role and stature in the team, or the Scrum Master who is coaching them to improve. In this situation, the development opportunities include the POPM course, which gives a basics of the role and how to support delivery in a safe model. The Agile Product Management course, which builds upon the POPM course and gets under the skin of what Agile Product Management is, including understanding customer needs. Get a PO peer mentor and working with a Scrum Master to coach them on servant leadership. This might be one of their biggest challenges, moving from directing to leading, which can be a hard transition for some. You may find a business analyst or architect, potentially from a system or solution, who has already got some technical skills. Also, as is often the case for BAs, they might have elements of the PO type skills too. This means they will have to work at being a PO and improving their technical skills. This pattern of using the system architect is one of M. Campbell Pritty and Adrian Wilson's echo in their book, The Art of Avoiding a Train Wreck. They outline that this should help keep the system architect grounded in the reality of the health of the system that the Agile teams are working in. Potentially, you could stretch this pattern and look wider in the enterprise for someone from within the release or service management teams. They could help bridge the needs of the delivery teams with those processes and organisational structures needed to release to production. One thing that they will need to help is to not delve too deep into the solutions as they might have done in their old role. The product owner owns the outcome and the team owns the solution. So working to provide the context and direction of travel might take some practice. Their development opportunities include the SAFE POPM course, the Agile Product Management course, the SAFE DevOps course, pairing with POs and technical team members, and coaching not to dive too deep into the details, and set the outcome and let the team find the solution. One possibility is to look within the team. Is there a natural person to take on this role? Someone might want to pick up this role. The same applies to Scrum Master too. Too often, management can assume that they know the best and feel that they can source the role. If there isn't a taker for this, look wider than the team and see if there is a stakeholder that we can look at for this role. Ask the team if they know someone who might be interested or could be great at the role. The advantages of finding someone within the existing team means they understand the technical elements of the role, but likely lack those of the product owner or wider organisational context. In the same vein as a BA or architect taking this role, can they hold themselves back and not get stuck into the weeds? As a starting point, putting them through the POPM course and the Agile Product Management courses would be a great idea. Now, more generally, for anyone who takes on this role, you might want to consider the following: reading the DevOps Handbook, practical guidance on DevOps tooling, cultural demands and metrics, broadening their awareness of the technology. Maybe check out the annual DevOps conference or annual AWS conference. Attend some meetups. It's pretty easy to find groups who meet to discuss AWS, Azure and CI/CD, etc. Attend the Mind the Product conferences or watch some of their many talks online. Here they'll be able to connect with product management community and understand what their work is and how they work and how they do similar things in their organisation. Look for a mentor in the existing wider SAFe community. Head over to the community platform from Scaled Agile and ask in the forums. And establishing a community of practice within the organisation, sharing knowledge, skills and lessons learned. Now I want to share an anti-pattern I've seen which stems from traditional ways of thinking. I've seen people start their search by asking who is funding or has line control of the system team, and look to them to find the person to fill the PO role. Firstly, this is dumping the problem on someone who might not be best placed to resolve it and doesn't support the SAFe principle apply systems thinking. As I've already mentioned, the system team's goal is to serve the train to support the delivery of value. Yes, the team, guided by the PO, might need to do some housekeeping like server upgrades and patches, but their focus is always firstly on how to serve the portfolio as a whole, not to be confused with just the portfolio level. Yes, we need to know how the PO role and the wider team is paid for, but it can simply come from the value stream funding or be a shared cost if the system team serves multiple trains or value streams. You don't want the system team's allegiance to be a specific department over a train, as this can lead to interference and confusion who are their taskmasters. So remember, it's not about the budget or reporting structure. So in closing, regardless of whoever becomes your product owner, they will likely need support and personal development to perform this function well. I encourage you to put emphasis that this person is just as worthy as coaching support as those within the arts themselves. If you have the opportunity to decentralise decision making and let people self-organise to solve this, it's reported to get great results. However, a more structured process might be needed depending on the culture of your organisation. Remember, there isn't likely to be a perfect solution. However, if your backup is against the wall and you need to make a decision today, your system architect isn't a bad choice. Also, don't feel they need to report into the main product management function in the organisation, although this is an option. If they do not report into it, the product management practice lead lives within that function, so they will have a responsibility to work together on standards of the capability. Now I hope you found this useful. However, if you have any further questions, comments or observations, please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn. In addition, if you have any further suggestions on development opportunities or sources for the role, please do let me know. Thank you for listening to this, and I wish you all the best in finding your product owner.